Welcome to another Jamwriter nugget. Bite-sized chunks of wisdom for your writing and publishing journey from Jamwriter authors. From manuscript to market and beyond. In this episode, our authors will be telling you how to get reviews both before and after publishing.
I really wanted some reviews on the back, and it just kind of turned out that I couldn't get. Let me turn back the reels a little bit. So I'm the kind of person where if I have an idea, I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it, and then I just do it. And I don't really think about how it's going to happen. I just kind of like, well, the idea is there. I'm going to make it happen. And so I'm realizing not everybody is that way. So whenever I had this idea that I'm going to put I wanted 3 reviews on the back, and I reached out to several people, and they were all very kind. They were going to read it and give me reviews, but I didn't get them all within time of the release that I set for myself.
Right.
But I did do, ARC readers, and I sent that out to a bunch of people, and it ended up with quite a few ARCs. I don't know if I got as many reviews as the ARC readers that I sent it out to, but
Right.
It is what it is.
Well, I had a trailer done ahead of time before the book even came out, put that out on YouTube. I do run my own website, projectbigskinny.com, which I run a blog on, and I talked about my creative process, both musically and writing, obviously. Mm-hmm. So I was able to sort of, before the book came out, garner some interest. But, once the book came out and I'm looking for reviews, I hopefully the people that I know that do read my book will leave reviews on Amazon or wherever it is they might find the book that they purchase. And hopefully they like it and they leave a good review. And I do have a couple good reviews, but it's still early in the process. I just published about 2 months ago.
Right.
And so I'm not quite, I'm trying to do some advertising. Let's face it, it's not a journey designed to make me, a millionaire or nothing like that, right? It's all about just enjoying the creative process and meeting people like yourself.
My first readers, I asked them for a review, and that's when I'm able to, I get some of my reviews. I print some reviews in my book. My publisher requires that I submit 6 reviews when I send in my book. They choose 3 that they'll feature on their page and that they feature when they post on Amazon. But I usually pick 6 or 7 to put into the book. I usually have 9 or 10 by the time I'm through.
Yeah.
I have a couple of people that will do a first read. Although they may check a real glaring typo, they don't do anything else except just read the book and enjoy it.
Well, I have to say that I didn't deal with the thing in what you might call a professional marketing manner. I didn't employ anybody. I had a lot of friends who very kindly read the book and, more importantly, passed it on to people I didn't know who read it. And these were people I met a lot when we were sailing. I had some copies printed when we were in Crete, and I was able to dish these out to people and just say, would you write a little thing about it? And there's a website that has evolved, and you can put it on Facebook and say what you like about it. And people wrote very kind reviews. It's interesting, nobody wrote a bad review. I'm sure that there were plenty of people who didn't like the book because it wasn't their scene.
As soon as I'm finished, I suppose I would give it to friends and other writers for that first impression, that beta feedback. Depending on what work it is, for example, now I finished the first draft for a client. We are together getting an editorial assessment from an agency actually, but not for the entire manuscript because it can be quite costly. So just for the first 30,000 words.
All right.
It really depends on the individual work, I think. what the story needs or how you feel about it, how sure or unsure you are.
You've hit my problem on the head here. It is incredibly difficult to get reviews. I'm not going to lie. I think I do not know how trad publishers do it. I think indie publishers do it more successfully when they have a huge engagement on social media. Now, this was, I have to be honest, a trick I didn't really pick up on until probably 6 months ago. When I was starting, I'd been going through lockdown schooling, and it was as much as I could do to actually finish the book. I'll be honest with you, it was horrendous. Right. So I got to the point at Christmas time where I was like, right, I'm going to have to start marketing this book. I want to launch these 2 books in this. I wanted to launch the prequel at the end of February and book 1 end of April. So I thought, right, I really have to get this social media stuff sorted. A couple of people on my ARC team were like, yeah, I'll give reviews. That's fantastic, no problem. But I know it is the bane of every indie when starting out. It's really hard. So probably from that point onwards, as soon as my prequel was given away as a reader magnet, that was great in terms of getting a subscriber list going, but not so great in terms of getting reviews. I joined Book Sprout and Story Origin and somewhere else to try and get reviews. And that's great. You have a fair bit of uptake through those sites, people clicking it, saying, yes, I'm going to review. You can check them and check that they do reviews before you release the ARC to them. But then following up with them afterwards, it's just like, have you even read the book?
Well, I sent it to 2 different groups of beta readers. The first was people, as you can tell from my gray hair, I'm a little bit older, so the first contemporaries, people that I've known for many years, who I know well enough to think that would give me critical comments, and people who I thought were intelligent and well-read enough that those comments would be valuable. The second group were a group of young science fiction fanatics, the kind of people that wear Star Wars T-shirts to bed every night, and that was very valuable as well. So I've gone through that. I went through that twice before I sent it to the editor, and I incorporated their comments. Very valuable. In some ways, encouraging, because I hadn't. Some of the perspectives that they came back with, some of the things they thought were fantastic, were things that I hadn't really thought about in the context that they had presented it to me.
Because the books have been read by many, many more people now, I have picked up a couple of what I would consider fans that are in a good position to also read through things, and it offers an even different perspective. One thing that I've always cautioned to people that are starting out is that don't send your things all just to other writers, because other writers all have their own biases, preferences, styles, and even though they may not intentionally do it, everything they read is through their own eye, through their own perspective. And if you get it out to just smart readers instead that read a lot, they don't have those preconceived notions. That's right. And they can be much better. And I even have a problem when I try to read other people's writing. I sometimes will do short edits or lookovers for novellas or short stories and poems and that kind of thing. And I really have to check myself that I'm not trying to put my own flavor in there.
Well, you're probably should be seeing some reviews within a couple of days off your pre-orders, but reviews are something that you kind of cultivate. Obviously, the behemoth Amazon, it very much frowns on you paying for a review. But places like Goodreads, where you can interact in groups and be able to, follow back your readers when they follow you and things like that, you can start to build a little, I wouldn't say it's an army, but a little fan base. And those people are more likely to buy your books and review them, or possibly review them without buying your books. But, I haven't really been comfortable asking people to review my stuff. But I always have a core little group of about 20 or 30 people that'll show up at my book signings and stuff. And I know if 2 or 3 of them get the ball rolling, then it gives the book enough time to get sold so that I get the benefit of some organic reviews. And I know there's plenty of authors out there that just buy blocks of reviews and don't give it another thought, but that's just not who I